Inclusion refers, according to the dictionary, to the act and practice of including and accommodating people who've been historically excluded because of race, gender, sexuality, or ability. Fundamentally, that doesn't have a lot of spark. And I like much better comparing it to Shafiq Asante's mantra, we were all born in. But after being born in, too many of us have been taught to exclude and classify and dehumanize some of us. So the word inclusion, that's showing the way, I hope. Okay. All right. So we're being brought to you by inclusion. And some of you, of course, may have gray hair like me, and recall that it used to refer to terms like integration and mainstreaming and natural supports and so on. But even though the intentions were often honorable, these words were gradually crushed into meaninglessness, drained of life, as large system colonized and our wonderful words were made into bumper stickers and pasted on the same old, same old. So in frustration, many of us gathered in October 1988. And one of our decisions was we needed a new vocabulary, and we chose the word inclusion. Now, not everyone appreciated our enthusiasm, but as it broadened the scope of possibilities and challenged the status quo. It was a struggle, but gradually, inclusion became accepted into the mainstream of training and practice. However, once again, systems took the word and scraped away its core meaning. So now when we hear inclusion, we have to look very clearly and examine what people really mean, because it has become so diffused and abused. So once again, we need to either invent or reinvent a new vocabulary, or reclaim the heart and soul of inclusion as it began. That's our proposal, because inclusion is too important as a concept, a practice, a value to simply become extinct. We need to reclaim its roots and respect it with the vitality and power in its origin. It is a very simple concept, and we all understand it deep in our soul. Simply, inclusion is not exclusion, but it's a slippery slope under the relentless pressure to tick yet another box. So inclusion means being with one another. We need to cross the thresholds of life to get in, and then be with each other. And that doesn't happen in segregated systems of exclusion. It happens in community where we all live. It's a simple concept, but these days it takes hard work and laser-focused attention to stay on track and to build and nurture welcoming communities of where everyone belongs, where everyone is a contributing citizen. Now, one of the best ways to do about that is not just to talk about it, but to hear stories of what inclusion looks like and feels like and tastes like when it's actually inclusion. And Dan Trebu exemplifies inclusion at its best. Because you see, Dan is inclusion in action. Dan is a woodworker, a map maker, a teacher, an artist. Dan is a photographer. And Dan is an amazing job coach, an amazing art partner, and an amazing artist. And so, welcome, Dan, and your story.